You got issues, Rolly. Spoilers for Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. I just want to talk about it without saying what I thought with coding or anything. Just want to say what I thought were my favorite parts, anything maybe I disliked. I don't care. It's a spoilers review. If you haven't seen this movie, go ahead and watch it. It deserves to be watched without spoilers. That's what made me have more fun with it, just enjoyment. This movie's just going to be way better if you know very little to it. So let's get started. After the Guardians of the Galaxy get reintroduced to us, taking on that octopus-looking thing from the trailers and succeeding in giving back what they wanted from those gold people from Aisha, now I know her name, and the crew. Rocket steals some batteries, pisses them off, and then that's what hunts them to go get them. I like how it was really just something like, it was kind of like the Guardians still being really why they were mad. It was kind of cool seeing that. They really had no problem. It was just, they noticed something was stolen from them and they were going after them. But those characters were some of my least favorite parts of this movie, honestly. As it kept coming back, I was like, no, get out of the way. I want to see more Star-Lord and Ego. But seeing how they were kind of in this, I'm kind of glad. Like, they kind of reminded me kind of like Ronan mostly. Like, there's a little bit of humor in them, but really all serious. But I like how they were more just, they were mad because it was all the Guardians' fault. And then they go pursue them, and then they see this magical being. They're not sure who it is. It's like Drax saying like he's yay small and whatnot. But then they go into this planet. Then the people that saved them come out, and it's revealed to be Ego and Mantis. So it's really not spoilers as to that he was in the trailer, because this is all in the first like 15 minutes. But then he introduced himself. I'm your dad, Peter. And Peter doesn't know what to think, doesn't know what to believe. Asks this Gamora for like advice. Gamora's like, you should trust your feelings. And really, this is like an Empire Strikes Back route where the crew gets separated for the middle portion of the movie, and you have Rocket with Nebula and Baby Groot, and then you have Star-Lord going off with Gamora and Drax with Mantis and Ego. And I really liked that. It was entertaining. I liked setting them both off. It kind of needed it for this space opera movie. It needed to have that to kind of have enough time, enough screen for everybody, but in a way where they're divided into two groups, without devoting each time to everybody. Just, I felt like that technique was awesome. It felt good. It felt refreshing, even though we've seen it before. But for this, it needed it like that. So we're off with Rocket, who gets captured because Yondu's group arrives, and Yondu doesn't really want to send them away. He's kind of changing. The Ravagers don't know what to think. So they take him with Rocket. They all take him for capture. I like that. Yondu was more in this. Just how the character, you understood him. He is one that you look back on in the first, you're like, you're going to be even way better in number 2. You're cool right now, but you're going to be badass. And it's cool how they did that to his character. They really brought reasons why he had to do with keeping Peter. And just seeing him interact with Rocket, who kind of is being right now the ass of the group. Having them trying to break out from the Ravagers prison with Groot. Oh, it's so funny. I like the little parts of Baby Groot, whether it's the intro with just him dancing, kind of like Star-Lord in the first, doing a throwback with everybody fighting the back. It's cool seeing that, taking it a little bit different. It's not the most original thing out there, but taking steps of just changing up a bit, like the film. Need those things to kind of like appreciate like other things, whether you have the drama coming in, and it's a story that it just balances out everything, making sure to have a little bit of wit, a little bit of serious tone. It's everything I appreciate. Seeing them finally get out, sticking it to the Ravagers. I kind of like how they wanted someone to mentor them, at least give them someone that they could root for, because they thought Yondu was getting soft, but it really wasn't someone really. I didn't take too much. Like, really, the gold people in them weren't really. They were a little bit better fleshed out than usual Marvel villains, but they still weren't calling my attention that much. And then there's a little Sylvester Stallone moment with Yondu. It was very touching. I understood he was kind of like his master, his trainer or something, and he kind of felt like disappointment in his eyes. I felt that. It really pays off later on. Like, Yondu kind of saying he's better than what he thinks. That was a really good emotional scene. And then having Star-Lord kind of connect with Ego, that was really one of my favorite parts. I don't know, it was very touching seeing a father-son kind of unite now and catch up. And what pays off so well is when he's finally playing catch with his father, how his father's teaching him that he's a celestial being, he's a god too, and he kind of built up a ball and they play. I was like, and it paid off because he's always been jealous of seeing other kids playing with their father's catch and always picturing David Hasselhoff as his father. It worked. It really built up to that. I thought it just paid off. Seeing Gamora kind of resolve stuff with Nebula, giving us Thanos without actually showing Thanos, just showing how effed up he can be. I kind of want to see how the Avengers are going to deal with him now, and seeing how the Guardians will come back with them, team up, and see how they will do, reuniting with their father. Just seeing, I understand why Nebula is really more pissed, seriously. In the other one, you could kind of think her acting was kind of off, but I feel like she needed to be like that, to show that she's been effed up because of her father, and Gamora being the favorite, seeing how she hates her. And it felt like, if you have a sibling, it felt like that type of tension, and it kind of resolved maybe a little bit too quick, but I could see that that's how siblings kind of are. Like those that you actually have a healthy relationship with, a little bit of bumps at times. Then one part where I thought was kind of getting predictable, which is very little, was when Mantis realized if something's wrong. I was like, oh crap. I thought Ego was going to be a good person, but there's going to be something out in the road. I didn't know what it was, but I knew something was going to turn. And it turns out, Ego's like the villain of the movie. And he is, of all the villains we had, he was my favorite in this movie, of the Guardians villains of this movie. Just what a way. Like, he is the charismatic person he is, just like Peter. You can see that in him, that he's like his father. But you got to remember, his name is Ego. He is a god. He's a planet. He has an ego. So I let that slide for a second. I was like, wait a minute, you're right. Like, that much ego can go to your head, just mess you up, and shows his true colors. He really wanted his son because he wanted to kind of help him take over the world. Reminded me of like Darth Vader, Luke Skywalker, that type. I was like, oh shit, we're going that route. And he wanted to join him. And then this was the twist where he put the tumor in his mother. I was like, yo, whoa, that I did not see coming. I knew he was gonna turn, and then it showed all those skulls saying those were all his sons. I was like, fine, good twist. But then that one did kind of catch me. I felt like this really gave me the Empire Strikes Back twist so far of maybe Marvel Universe. I gotta think about it. There's a lot of movies, but it gave me, for that, at that moment, that type of shock value. I don't know, I just didn't catch it. I thought, okay, he's gonna be a bad guy. I was like, he wants his son to go live with him, but then he realizes Yondu didn't turn him in because his father's an asshole, literally. And then realizing that he did that to his mom was like, whoa. And Peter was like, I like Ego as a villain now. Like, I've kind of, for the villain that he is, respect that as a character written. But then Star-Lord was like, you gotta do it, man. You gotta defend your mom no matter what, even if that's your father. And I just felt when he started shooting him, I was like, I felt the rage in him. That was a fine moment in the Guardians of the Galaxy film, in my opinion. So far, the two films we have, that's one of their finest moments. So then the Guardians, they come back, they get together now. They take on the planet. You see Star-Lord, Ego had like a Superman kind of matchup, having two gods face one another. He turns into Pac-Man. I was like, that's so like him. Like, that's what he would do in that situation, because that's just how we have come to know Peter Quill. Drax having comedic moments from time to time, saying how Mantis is ugly, and then like, oh, he can't imagine sleeping with her. Some of the best hilarious moments in that movie as well. And then him eventually kind of taking her back, saying you're pretty on the inside. Gamora, Nebula officially kind of getting along now, at least a little bit better, helping each other out. Rocket kind of carrying out, he's like, he can't afford losing people. Everybody's coming back together. It really was a good, like, lesson learned for family, like, where you can evolve. I felt like they all really evolved. They gave more character development to some people rather than others, but they gave them all at least something. And I thought it was pretty cool to kind of separate them, bring them together to kind of like catch it up, have them have their moment then there, and then meet up again. And then, yeah, Star-Lord, he makes sure he ends Ego. And then before it just goes off, you think Yondu, bits the dust, but he comes back one more time, saves Star-Lord, tells him, he might be your father, but he ain't your daddy. Touching moment. And then he gives his life to save the rest of the Guardians. And you've seen it in the trailers. When Rocket tells that Yondu, that Groot said, welcome to the freaking Guardians of the Galaxy, I felt like it added a lot of weight to it when you saw that in the movie. Like, he earned a spot on that group. It was a perfect way to just end the movie like that. I was very satisfied with the thematic of how the movie was, with how all the people dealt with like family issues, and how then this one reveal really changed one aspect of the family problem that we had in this movie. Just everybody dealing with it, and then Star-Lord and Eagle realizing, yeah, this father-son relationship won't really work, and then ending it with, sacrifices from one Guardians member. Thematically, just the way it was, I was impressed. I was not expecting that much of it. Just seeing how it's been safe before in the past, but they look like they didn't play safe in this one. They changed it up a bit. It really was a way to have a second chapter from this franchise. But I was really impressed how this movie was. Really just like the narration, a little bit like the first half, kind of you wonder where they're going, how with the story's kind of about, but then the second half really it shifts into gear. It knows what it is. Just things like that. Little characters, maybe I didn't really care. Just minor predictability at times, some stuff, but a lot of other things I was not expecting. And it was really an incredible film in the Marvel Studios lineup. That I stand on this movie being in solid A, but it's a really solid A. It's a fun time. It's a movie you can get out a good story in it. So this is just my thoughts of Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, guys. You can spoil away. Let me know your favorites here, of parts that you like, parts that you hate. I understand all criticism as long as it's well-constructed criticism. That's what I welcome to the channel. So let me know, guys. My opinion, I want to hear your guys' opinion in the comments below. And as always, roll an empire. Laugh, smile, repeat.